guys, one of the things I wanted to get on here and talk to you about today was inclusion. To include or not to include. Obviously, I'm for inclusion. Obviously, I love inclusion. But I do believe there are certain situations where inclusion is not best. I do believe there are certain situations where the child falls further behind, and that's what I want to talk about today. When we went in for Connor's IEP meeting, sorry, I'm trying to watch Connor. We went in for his IEP meeting, and Jeremy and I had already had many discussions about kindergarten and what kindergarten looked like for him, and our opinions and our thoughts, and we went with very open minds, but we did not want him out in general ed regular kindergarten class. And here are some reasons why. Connor is super delayed. He's very far behind. And we felt that it would be a situation where he fell further behind, where he felt very confused, where it just wasn't for him this year. Do we think it'll ever be for him? We hope that it will. We hope that that's something we'll work towards. You know, that is what we discussed in the IEP. All his teachers were on board. And it's very odd for parents to say we want him in the CDC room. But that's what we did. And it wasn't a lightly took decision. It wasn't a last minute decision. It wasn't a thrown together decision. It's something we've had much prayer about and much thought about, and I just know that there are tons of benefits, don't get me wrong, from being in the regular classroom for him to be around regular students, but as far as the learning and the things he's supposed to accomplish this year, like if he were a typical child, he's not there. He's not a 5-year-old. See, I hate saying that, and these are the reasons I don't go live right here, because I say something crazy. He is a 5-year-old. He's about to be 6. But mentality-wise, he is nowhere near a 5-year-old. And so I don't want to set him up to fail. I never want him to feel confused. I never want him to be in a situation that pushes him further behind. I never want him to be just there, so to speak. And I feel like that's what it would have been for him this year. Now, I am not dogging on any teachers. I am not dogging on any aides. I am not doing that at all. I'm not saying they would have let him just be there. I'm not saying that they would not have tried to help him, but it was just my thought process and my opinion this year, and Jeremy's also, that is not what we wanted for him where he is right now. It's very important to remember that we love inclusion. We are for inclusion, but I think as a whole, inclusion has been pushed by parents so much that there are rarely any parents I've talked to that say it wasn't best. It wasn't best right now. It wasn't, and I hope that we are not setting some children up to fail because of that. And I'm afraid that we are, because there are situations where it is not best. There are situations where it is not in the benefit of the child. There are situations where that's true. Is inclusion beautiful? Is inclusion wonderful? Is inclusion helping kids grow and learn and not be further delayed, be ahead, even be back on track even? Of course, absolutely. Will that be the case for Connor? Maybe, possibly someday, but right now we just knew where he's at. We just knew. Not this year. Not right now. And things may change. Things may happen. We don't know. We don't know what the future holds. I think that's what's so scary for special needs parents, because you don't know what the future holds, because you have no idea, which nobody knows what the future holds, but we have no idea what the future even looks like. Is the future going to be what life's like right now? Is Connor going to start talking in a couple of years and be talking our heads off? We don't know. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know what it looks like. And that's scary. None of us want the unknown. Even if you're not really a planner, which I am, but even if you're not really a planner, you still don't want the fear of unknown. You want to have this picture where you think you know what it'll look like. We all think our kids are going to get married. We all think our kids are going to have children. We all want these things for our children. But when you're a special needs parent, you don't know. You don't know if that is a realistic view of what the future holds. Can it be? Absolutely. I'm not putting limitations. I'm not saying people with special needs can't get married, can't have kids, can't have a family. I'm not saying that at all, but the reality is that's not the case for everyone. And that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. You have envisioned what you want in life, and it's not always the case. And so I just wanted to hop on here and tell our side, our views, why we felt that way this year, and just to say that it is specific to Connor, but also it's something that needs to be kept in mind. I think we are setting a lot of children up to fail by doing inclusion when it's not in the benefit for that specific child. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash for this. Hopefully not a lot of people watch it. Maybe I won't, but because I'm a pretty sensitive person. But anyway, so that's where we're at this year, and we're really excited for kindergarten to start. We're really sad too. I can't believe he's in kindergarten. But we're excited for this new journey, this new adventure. Some of the things that we know are going to be harder on Connor this year is for the last 3 years, he's been in the CDC pre-K classroom. And so when he goes to school this year, his little mind, I know, is going to think he's going into that room. And it'll be a different room, and it'll be different aides, a different teacher. And it'll be fine. It'll be great. I know people are going to comment on this and say, don't worry, he'll be fine. I know that he'll be fine, but I still have to worry about him, because I worry about those first few weeks of getting in the groove of it, getting in a new routine. Connor's totally about routines. He's totally about everything going as set as he thinks it should go, you know. And so in the same sentence, I will say, it's going to be like I contradicted myself, but I will say he's a go-with-the-flow kid. He adjusts and adapts easily, but that does not mean he's not a routine kid, because he is all about routines. It's just he's really resilient. He's really good about picking back up and rolling with what's going on, you know. And so he'll do great. It'll be fine. But I am a little nervous till we get back in our groove. It won't be long. We just have a couple more weeks until time, and so I'm pretty nervous, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. It's all going to work out, and it's going to be wonderful, and we're going to have another great year, and then we'll see what next year holds. We'll see at the next IEP meeting what's going on and where he's at and how he's changed. And you know, one of the beautiful things, IEP meetings are hard, I will say that. I cry almost every single time, but I will say one of the beautiful things about them is when you can look back and you can see growth. Maybe it's not the growth you want. Can I look back and see now that he is talking to me in sentences? No. But can I look back and see where he's come leaps and bounds from when he started school? Absolutely. There's so many things that were different. You know, one of his goals when he first started was that he would find ways to cope with his emotions rather than crying. Because, look at me, I'm about to cry while I'm saying this, because he would cry at school. He would cry quite a bit at school, and that was one of his goals, which maybe that might seem cruel to you, but it wasn't done in a cruel way. It was just, you know, pretty much that he wouldn't cry at school, but it just said that he would learn to cope with his emotions so that he, you know, didn't get upset and cry at school. And he met that goal. And I remember his first year of school, that was the only goal he met. And that's a difficult pill to swallow, but if you'll go back and you'll really dig and you'll really look, you'll see how they've grown. You'll see how they've come so far, but it's the little triumphs. It's not really maybe the big ones we want to see. It's not the big, he's talking and he's writing and he's coloring in the lines and he can color a picture perfectly and is he doing that? No, but is he, participating? Is he coming over during group time? A big thing with Connor is he didn't want to have nothing to do during group time, and he got to where he would come over and he would sit down in his chair. Now, did he do any of it? Some days he tried to participate, some days he didn't, but still he was coming over and he was, at least sitting there and being there with them. So that even was a big deal. But if you're not looking for things like that, if you're looking for big growth, maybe you don't see it, but I think that's a thing as special needs parents too. We have to be on the lookout for growth and changes, and we have to keep in mind that it might not be the way we want to see it. It might not be the way we expect the growth and changes, but it's still a beautiful thing. It's still a cool thing. But you just have to look at things different ways, and I think that's what our kids teach us a lot of times. Any child, even a typical child, is they teach us to look at life in a different way. Almost anybody you'll talk to will tell you that when they have a child, they were changed. It changed so many things about them, and it's so incredibly true. And we look at life different when we have a child, as we should, and so you sometimes have to adjust a little of what you thought it was going to be like, or what you think you were going to even be like as a parent. It all changes and it adjusts, but it's still beautiful and it's still wonderful. And sometimes the things we didn't expect turn out to be the biggest blessings and the most beautiful things in our life. And so that's something to keep in mind too. I think in this world, we're too much of planners sometimes. We're too much of going by the books and trying to have this perfect little life, and we need to just relax and live and enjoy our life. And so that's really all I have to say right now for today, but I did want to hop on here and talk about inclusion, because I'm probably one of the few people that has this viewpoint, or will speak openly about having this viewpoint. And like I said, I love inclusion. I think it's beautiful, but I think there are situations where it is not best. And so that's how I feel about it. And so this year we're not doing it. He'll be in some with his kindergarten class, I think. I'm not really sure how it's all going to go. It's a new year. It's a new thing. But for the most part, he will be in the CDC class, and we are cool with that. It's actually our idea. So anyway, I'll get on here and I'll update you on some other topics soon, and I also will definitely get on here and let you know about school and how things are going. So I will catch y'all later.